Why is my childhood completely missing from all family videos? I'm staring at two identical VHS tapes labeled Christmas 1998 in my father's handwriting, and I know something is very, very wrong. The first tape I found 3 hours ago in Mom's living room cabinet, the same tape she's shown at every family gathering for the past decade. 23 minutes of my brother Derek opening presents, Derek laughing by the tree, Derek hugging our golden retriever Buster. Not a single frame of me, and I was 7 years old that Christmas. I remember it vividly because it was the year I got the American Girl doll I begged for since August. But this second tape was hidden in a shoebox behind Dad's old tax returns, wrapped in a grocery bag like contraband. Same label, same date, but when I held them up to the light, I could see this one was longer. 47 minutes instead of 23. My hands are shaking as I slide it into the VCR I dragged down from the attic. The same VCR where Mom used to edit these tapes, back when she told me she was making them shorter so people wouldn't get bored. The video starts exactly like the other one. Derek, 11 years old, tearing through wrapping paper while Mom coos behind the camera. Oh honey, look at that smile. You're so photogenic, Derek. Just like a movie star. But at the 23-minute mark, right where the edited version cuts off, it keeps going. And there I am. 7-year-old me in my red Christmas pajamas, dragging a wrapped box almost as big as I am across the carpet. I'm grinning so wide my cheeks look like they might split, brown hair falling in my eyes as I struggle with the ribbon. Careful, Lily. Dad's voice calls from somewhere off camera. Do you need help with that one? No, I got it, my tiny voice chirps back. I'm strong. I watch myself finally tear through the paper and scream with delight when I see the American Girl box. I remember this moment. I remember hugging that box and spinning around the living room, my bare feet slapping against the hardwood floor. I remember Mom laughing and telling me to slow down before I got dizzy. But in the version she's been showing for 20 years, this never happened. According to Mom's edit, Christmas 1998 was the Derek show, start to finish. My chest feels tight as I keep watching. There's me helping Derek set up his new train set. Me and Dad building a gingerbread house while Derek plays Nintendo. Me feeding Buster pieces of turkey when I thought no one was looking, Mom's voice warm with amusement. Lily Marie, that dog is going to be spoiled rotten because of you. 24 minutes of me existing, laughing, being part of this family. 24 minutes that have been systematically erased from our history. I eject the tape with trembling fingers and stare at the two identical labels. For years, I've questioned my own memories. When I bring up childhood moments at family dinners, Mom would get that confused look and say things like, "Oh sweetie, you're mixing up the years again," or "That must have been Derek, honey. You were probably too young to remember clearly." Even Aunt Susan and Uncle Jim, who've seen these edited videos dozens of times, started forgetting I was there for major events. Last Thanksgiving, Uncle Jim was surprised when I mentioned being at Derek's high school graduation. Really? I don't remember seeing you there. Because in Mom's version, I wasn't. I was edited out of my own childhood, one tape at a time. I spent the next 4 hours going through every box in Dad's closet with surgical precision. My back aches from hunching over cardboard containers, but I can't stop. Not now. Behind his college yearbooks, I find another grocery bag. This one contains 8 more tapes, all with duplicate labels in Dad's careful handwriting. Derek's 8th birthday, beach trip 2001, Lily's dance recital 2003, Easter 2005. Every single one wrapped like evidence he was hiding from a crime scene. My dance recital. I remember Mom filming that. I was 9 and had a solo in our studio spring production. I'd practiced for months, driving everyone crazy by running through my routine in the living room every night after dinner. But when I asked Mom about the video a few years later, she claimed the camera had malfunctioned. Such a shame, she'd said, not meeting my eyes. The lighting was all wrong anyway, honey. I slide Lily's dance recital 2003 into the VCR, my heart hammering against my ribs. The tape starts backstage, Mom's voice bright with excitement. There's my little ballerina. Are you ready, baby? 9-year-old me beams at the camera, adjusting my pink tutu with serious concentration. I practiced the turn sequence 57 times yesterday, I announced proudly. Dad counted. The video cuts to the auditorium, packed with parents holding flowers and cameras. I can see Derek in the third row, actually paying attention instead of slouching in his chair. When my music starts and I glide onto that small stage, Mom's camera follows every arabesque, every leap, every carefully executed pirouette. That's my daughter. Dad's voice booms from somewhere behind the camera, and other parents turn to smile at his enthusiasm. Isn't she incredible? The video captures my bow at the end, the way my face lights up when I spot my family in the audience, how I wave specifically at Derek who gives me an enthusiastic thumbs up. Mom zooms in on my expression, pure joy and accomplishment radiating from every pixel. This footage is pristine. Professional quality. The lighting is perfect, the audio crystal clear. There was never anything wrong with this recording. She just decided it didn't fit her narrative. I fast forward through beach trip 2001 and find 23 minutes of me building sandcastles with Derek, both of us burying Dad up to his neck while he pretends to be a sea monster. In Easter 2005, I'm leading an elaborate egg hunt for our younger cousins, completely in my element as I help 3-year-old Marcus find the golden egg hidden behind the porch swing. But the tape that breaks something fundamental inside me is labeled Derek's high school graduation 2009. The edited version Mom shows is 18 minutes of Derek walking across the stage, Derek hugging his girlfriend, Derek at dinner afterward. But the original? The original starts 40 minutes earlier, with me in the kitchen at 5 a.m. making a poster that reads, "Congratulations Derek," in carefully painted block letters, glitter still wet around the edges. He's going to love this, I tell Dad, who's making coffee in his pajamas. You're such a good sister, Lily. Derek's lucky to have you in his corner. The video follows me as I hang streamers in Derek's room, arrange his favorite cookies on a plate, even iron his lucky shirt because it has to be perfect for his big day. I was 15, old enough to understand how important this moment was for our family, mature enough to want to make it special for my brother. At his actual graduation ceremony, the camera catches me cheering louder than anyone when they call Derek's name, jumping up and down in my carefully chosen blue dress, tears of pride streaming down my face. I loved him so much. I loved our family so much. And she erased all of it. I'm sitting on Dad's closet floor surrounded by evidence of my stolen childhood when my phone buzzes. Derek's name flashes on the screen. Hey Lily, weird question. Mom's looking for some old tapes from Dad's stuff. Says she wants to make a memorial video for his anniversary next month. You haven't seen any home movies in his things, have you? My blood turns to ice water. Dad died 8 months ago. There's been no mention of any memorial video until right now, 30 minutes after I missed 3 calls from Mom that I was too absorbed to answer. Which tapes? I asked carefully, glancing at the damning evidence scattered around me. I don't know, just old family stuff. She seemed pretty stressed about it. You know how she gets about Dad's memory being preserved correctly. Derek's tone is casual, but something in his voice makes my stomach clench. She's actually on her way over to help you look through his closet. Should be there in like 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I scramble to my feet, panic flooding my system. Did you tell her I was here? Yeah, your car's in the driveway. Why? Is everything okay? She knows. Somehow, she knows I found them. Everything's fine, I lie, already shoving tapes back into grocery bags. Just tired. It's emotional going through Dad's stuff. I get it. Hey, maybe this memorial video thing will be good for all of us. She wants to show it at my wedding reception next month. You know how she loves those big family presentations. My wedding reception. Where Aunt Susan and Uncle Jim and all our cousins will gather around to watch Mom's carefully curated version of Dad's life. Where I'll probably be reduced to a few seconds of background footage, if I appear at all. Sounds great, I manage. I should probably clean up before Mom gets here. Okay, love you, sis. The line goes dead and I'm moving like my life depends on it. I grab the most damning tapes, Christmas 1998, my dance recital, Derek's graduation, and sprint upstairs to my old bedroom. My hands are shaking so violently I can barely grip the shoebox I drag from under my childhood bed. Through my bedroom window, I see Mom's silver Honda turning onto our street. I shove the tapes under my old yearbooks just as her car door slams shut. By the time I hear her key in the front door, I'm back in Dad's closet, innocently folding his old sweaters into a donation pile. Lily? Honey, where are you? Up here, Mom. In Dad's room. Her footsteps on the stairs sound different somehow. More deliberate. When she appears in the doorway, her smile is too bright, her eyes scanning the closet with laser focus. Oh good, you're going through his things. I was hoping we could do that together. She steps closer, and I catch a whiff of her nervous perfume, the kind she wears to doctor appointments and parent-teacher conferences. Derek mentioned you might have found some old home movies? Just a few random tapes, I say carefully, gesturing to the remaining boxes. Nothing too interesting. Some of his old work training videos. Her shoulders relax slightly, but her eyes keep moving. Well, I'd love to take a look anyway. You know how sentimental I get about preserving family memories. Preserving. The irony would be funny if it weren't so devastating. Of course. I hand her a box containing Dad's actual work videos, quarterly sales presentations and safety training seminars from 1987. These were in his desk drawer. She rifles through them with barely concealed disappointment. Nothing else? No family celebrations or holidays? Not that I've found yet. But I can see in her eyes that she doesn't believe me. And for the first time in my 28 years, I realize I'm not afraid of that look anymore. I'm angry. Mom spends the next hour methodically going through every box in Dad's closet while I watch her like a hawk. She's trying to be casual about it, making small talk about Dad's old bowling trophies and his collection of ties she never liked, but I can see the tension in her shoulders. Every few minutes, her eyes dart to corners of the closet where dust patterns show boxes have been moved recently. You know, she says, holding up Dad's retirement watch, I was thinking we should really celebrate his life properly. It's been 8 months, and I feel like we haven't honored his memory the way he deserved. The memorial video Derek mentioned? Exactly. Her smile is practiced, the same one she uses with difficult customers at her real estate office. I want to put together something beautiful for Derek's reception. All our happiest family moments, you know? Really show everyone what a wonderful father and husband he was. What she means is, I need to find those tapes and edit out anything that doesn't fit my version of our family story. Again. That sounds lovely, Mom. I just need to find the right footage. I know there are more tapes somewhere. Your father was always filming everything. Remember how he used to carry that old camcorder to every single event? I remember. Dad documented everything because he said life moved too fast and he didn't want to forget the little moments. He filmed me losing my first tooth at age 6, Derek teaching me to ride a bike when I was 8, both of us building snow forts in the backyard during the blizzard of 2004. Hours and hours of ordinary, precious family life. All of which Mom systematically destroyed to create her alternate reality where I was barely worth remembering. Maybe they're in the basement? I suggest. Dad kept a lot of stuff down there. Good idea. Let's go look. But as we're heading downstairs, her phone rings. The caller ID says Cheryl Westbrook, Mom's sister-in-law, Derek's future mother-in-law. Oh, I should take this. Wedding planning never stops. Mom steps onto the front porch, but I can hear her voice through the thin walls of our old house. Cheryl, hi. Yes, everything's going perfectly. What? No, I told you, the memorial video will be ready. Of course Derek has wonderful childhood memories. What kind of question is that? There's a long pause, and when Mom speaks again, her voice is strained. What do you mean? Lily says she was there. Where? Derek's graduation? Well, of course she was there, she's his sister. No, I'm sure she's in the video somewhere. My heart stops. Cheryl must have been talking to me about Derek's graduation at some family gathering, and now she's asking Mom about the discrepancies. Look, Cheryl, sometimes teenagers remember things differently than they actually happened. Lily was going through a difficult phase in high school, very attention-seeking. She probably just, what do you mean, multiple events? I creep closer to the window, my pulse thundering in my ears. The dance recital? The camera malfunctioned that day. Christmas of 98? Cheryl, that was 25 years ago, who remembers every detail from. She said she has proof? The silence stretches so long I wonder if the call dropped. Then Mom's voice comes back, barely above a whisper. What kind of proof? I don't hear Cheryl's response, but I watch Mom's face go completely white through the window. Her free hand grips the porch railing like she might collapse. I have to go, she says abruptly. I'll call you back. She hangs up and stands there for a full 30 seconds, staring at her phone. When she finally comes back inside, her casual mask is completely gone. Her eyes are wild, desperate. Lily, she says carefully, we need to talk. The way Mom is looking at me right now, like I'm a bomb that might detonate at any second, tells me everything I need to know. She's figured out that I found the tapes. What did Cheryl mean about proof? I ask, settling onto Dad's old recliner like I have all the time in the world. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. Mom perches on the edge of the couch, her real estate smile flickering like a broken neon sign. Oh, you know how Cheryl gets. Always stirring up drama before big events. She's probably just nervous about the wedding. She mentioned my dance recital. And Christmas of '98. Lily. Mom's hands are twisting in her lap, and I can see a thin sheen of sweat on her forehead despite the October chill. Sometimes when we're grieving, we remember things that didn't exactly happen the way we think they did. Grief can play tricks on memory. The audacity of this statement, coming from the woman who spent 2 decades gaslighting me about my own childhood, actually makes me laugh. Not a happy laugh. The kind of laugh that makes Mom flinch. Is that what happened with Dad's camera? Grief made it malfunction during my dance recital? Her face goes through several micro-expressions before settling on concerned confusion. Sweetie, I'm worried about you. You've been under so much stress since Dad died, and now with Derek's wedding coming up, maybe you should talk to someone. Dr. Peterson has some wonderful grief counselors in her practice. Classic deflection. Make it about my mental health, my inability to cope, my tendency toward attention-seeking behavior, a phrase she's been using to dismiss me since I was 12. Mom, I know about the tapes. The words hang in the air between us like smoke. Mom's face goes completely blank, which is somehow more terrifying than if she'd started yelling. What tapes? The original ones. The ones Dad hid behind his tax returns. Christmas 1998. My dance recital. Derek's graduation. Beach trip 2001. All of them. For exactly 7 seconds, we stare at each other in complete silence. I can hear the kitchen clock ticking from 2 rooms away, the neighbor's dog barking at a delivery truck, the sound of my own heartbeat in my ears. Then Mom's mask slips entirely. Where are they? Her voice is sharp now, all pretense of maternal concern gone. Lily, those tapes are private family property, and if you've taken them. Private? I interrupt. They're videos of my childhood. My dance recital. My Christmas morning. How are my own memories private from me? She stands up abruptly, pacing to the window and back. You don't understand. Those videos, they weren't good quality. I was protecting you from seeing yourself looking awkward, or catching bad angles. I only kept the best parts. 24 minutes of me at Christmas 1998 was all bad angles? You were going through a difficult phase. I was 7 years old. You were always so sensitive about being filmed. I thought I was sparing your feelings. The lies are coming faster now, each one more desperate than the last. I watch her scramble for explanations, and something cold and clear settles in my chest. What about Derek's graduation? I made him a poster. I ironed his lucky shirt. I cried when they called his name because I was so proud of him. My voice breaks slightly. You edited out 15-year-old me being a good sister. How was that protecting anyone? Mom stops pacing. Her shoulders sag, and for a moment she looks older than her 53 years. Derek needed to be the star, she whispers. It was his day. So I couldn't exist in the same video? She doesn't answer, which is an answer itself. Where are they now? She asks quietly. I look at this woman who gave birth to me, who packed my lunches and drove me to soccer practice and taught me how to braid my hair. This woman who systematically erased me from our family's history and convinced everyone, including me, that my memories were false. Somewhere safe, I tell her. Her eyes narrow. Lily, I'm your mother. Those tapes belong to this family, and I decide. You decide nothing anymore. The finality in my voice surprises both of us. Mom's face cycles through shock, anger, and something that looks almost like fear before settling into a cold calculation I've never seen before. You have no idea what you're doing, she says, her voice dropping to a whisper that somehow feels more threatening than shouting. Those tapes were edited for good reasons. There are things on them that could hurt people. Like what? Me being happy? Me existing? Like your father's drinking. The words hit me like a physical blow. I actually lean back in Dad's chair, my mouth falling open. What? Mom sits back down, her expression shifting to something that might be genuine pain. You were too young to notice, but your father had a problem during those years. Christmas 1998? He was drunk by 10 a.m. Your dance recital? He showed up late because he was at Murphy's Tavern. Derek's graduation? She laughs bitterly. He could barely stand during the ceremony. I think back to the videos, trying to remember Dad's voice, his behavior. He was enthusiastic, proud, maybe a little loud, but that's not true. Listen to his voice in those Christmas videos, Lily. Really listen. Count how many times he's slurring. Watch how he stumbles when he's helping you with that doll box. My chest tightens as doubt creeps in. Dad did love his beer, especially during holidays. And there were times when Mom would get that pinched look and quietly take his keys away after family gatherings. But drunk? Even if that's true, I say slowly, that doesn't explain why you cut me out. You could have edited around Dad. You were always hanging on him during those episodes. Always right there, encouraging him, laughing at his jokes when he was making a fool of himself. Mom's voice takes on that familiar tone of patient explanation, like she's talking to someone very slow. You were 7 years old, Lily. You didn't know any better. But watching it back, it was heartbreaking. This little girl enabling her father's worst moments because she didn't understand what was happening. The explanation is so reasonable, delivered with such practiced sincerity, that for a second I almost believe it. This is what mom does. She takes a grain of truth and builds an entire narrative around it, one that always somehow justifies her choices. What about the beach trip? Easter 2005? Every single birthday party and family dinner for 20 years? My voice is getting stronger. Dad was drunk at all of those too? Not drunk, but... She sighs deeply. Lily, you have to understand. Derek was naturally photogenic, naturally charming. He knew how to behave on camera. You were always so intense. So desperate for attention. You'd see the camera and start performing, getting louder and sillier, trying to steal focus from whatever we were celebrating. I was a child being a child. You were disruptive. The casual cruelty of that statement takes my breath away. I think about 7-year-old me spinning around the living room with my American Girl doll, 9-year-old me perfecting my pirouettes, 15-year-old me crying with pride at my brother's graduation. Disruptive. Does Derek know? I ask quietly. Something flickers across Mom's face. Know what? About the editing. About you having 2 versions of every family memory. Derek has never needed to know about the technical aspects of preserving our family videos. That's not a no. My phone buzzes with a text. Derek's name appears on the screen. Hey, did you and Mom find those tapes? Sarah's mom is asking about the memorial video timeline. Sarah. Derek's fiancé. I've been so focused on extended family that I forgot. Derek is about to marry someone who has never seen any version of our family videos. Someone who only knows me as Derek's sister, not as the girl who was systematically edited out of our family story. What will Sarah think when she watches Mom's memorial video at their wedding reception? Will she wonder why Derek's sister barely appears in 25 years of family footage? Will she ask Derek why his parents seem to document his entire childhood while virtually ignoring their daughter? Or has Mom already prepared explanations for that too? I look up to find Mom watching me read the text, her expression unreadable. Sarah seems like a lovely girl, she says carefully. Very focused on Derek, very supportive of his needs. The kind of woman who understands that some men need to be the center of attention in their relationships. The implication is clear. Sarah won't rock the boat. Sarah won't ask uncomfortable questions about missing sisters or edited histories. Sarah will watch Mom's memorial video and accept whatever narrative is presented. I'm going to tell him, I say. Tell him what, exactly? That his grieving mother made some difficult editing choices to protect our family's dignity? That his sister is so desperate for attention she's willing to destroy family relationships over home movies? She leans forward, and I can see the steel beneath her concerned expression. Think carefully, Lily. Derek's wedding is in 3 weeks. Do you really want to blow up his happiness with ancient history? Do you want Sarah's family to think she's marrying into some kind of dysfunctional mess? Her words hit their target perfectly. I've always been protective of Derek, always wanted his happiness. The idea of ruining his wedding, of making Sarah uncomfortable, of creating family drama during what should be the best time of his life. But then I think about 47 minutes of Christmas 1998, and 24 minutes of my joy that were deemed too disruptive to preserve. I stand up from Dad's chair and look at the woman who erased my childhood. His happiness was built on a lie, I say. 3 days later, I'm sitting in my apartment staring at 17 home videos spread across my coffee table like evidence in a murder trial. After Mom left Dad's house empty-handed and furious, I went back for the rest of them. Every single tape Dad had hidden, plus the equipment I'd need to digitize everything. My laptop shows 47 hours of raw footage uploaded and organized into folders: Christmas, birthdays, school events, family trips. 47 hours of my childhood that I'd forgotten existed, now backed up in triplicate because I'm not stupid enough to let Mom destroy them again. But it's not just what I found that's keeping me awake at night. It's what Derek texted me yesterday. Mom told me you're going through some kind of breakdown. She's worried you're having delusions about family stuff. Maybe I should come over? Delusions. She's already started the counter-narrative, painting me as unstable, grief-stricken, unreliable. Classic Mom, always 3 steps ahead. My phone rings, and Aunt Susan's name appears on the screen. My heart rate spikes. We haven't talked since Dad's funeral, and Mom has had 8 months to shape whatever narrative she wants with the extended family. Lily? Honey, I hope you don't mind me calling. Your mom mentioned you've been having a hard time since your dad passed. Here we go. I'm managing, Aunt Susan. Thanks for checking on me. Of course, sweetheart. Family looks after family. There's a pause, and I can hear Uncle Jim's television in the background. Listen, I don't want to overstep, but your mother is concerned about some confusion you're having about old family events. What kind of confusion? Well, apparently you've been insisting you were present at things when maybe you weren't. Or your memories might be a little mixed up? Susan's voice is careful, the tone adults use when they're afraid of triggering someone fragile. Grief can do funny things to our minds, honey. I close my eyes and count to 5. What specifically did Mom tell you I was confused about? Oh, just little things. Like thinking you were at Derek's high school graduation when you were actually homesick, or believing you had a dance recital that got cancelled due to a storm. Nothing major, just... She trails off uncomfortably. Aunt Susan, do you remember Derek's 8th birthday party? The one at Chuck E. Cheese in 2005? Of course. Derek loved those arcade games. Played that basketball game for hours. Do you remember me being there? Another pause, longer this time. Well, I mean, you probably were, honey. You kids were always together back then. Probably. Even my own aunt, who helped plan that party, can't definitively place me there because she's watched Mom's edited version so many times that her actual memories have been overwritten. I want a stuffed purple elephant at the ring toss, I tell her. I named it Peanut and carried it around for the rest of the party. You took a picture of me and Derek sharing a slice of birthday cake, both of us covered in chocolate frosting. Silence. I don't really remember the details like that, sweetie. It was so long ago. Right. Of course. I'm gripping the phone so hard my knuckles are white. Aunt Susan, hypothetically, if someone showed you video evidence that your memories about family events weren't accurate, what would you do? Video evidence? Lily, what are you talking about? Never mind. I should let you go. Wait, honey, are you sure you're okay? Your mom is really worried, and maybe it would help to talk to someone professional about. I hang up. 20 minutes later, Derek is at my door unannounced, his face creased with concern and something that looks like embarrassment. We need to talk, he says, pushing past me into my living room. Mom thinks you're having some kind of psychological episode, and honestly, Lily, some of the things you've been saying. He stops mid-sentence when he sees my coffee table covered with VHS tapes and screenshots from digitized footage. What is all this? I look at my big brother, the golden child, the star of every family video, the man who's about to marry the love of his life in 2 weeks, and realize I'm about to change his world forever. Sit down, Derek. There's something you need to see. I click play on the first video file, Derek's 8th birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, and watch my brother's face as his childhood unfolds on my laptop screen. There's 8-year-old Derek in his favorite Superman shirt, attacking the basketball game with single-minded determination. Mom's voice behind the camera is warm with pride. Look at that form. He's going to be a basketball star. Derek smiles at the screen, his expression soft with nostalgia. I remember this. I was obsessed with beating the high score that day. Keep watching, I tell him. At the 4-minute mark, I appear on screen. 6-year-old me with pigtails and a gap-toothed grin, dragging Derek toward the ring toss game. Derek. Derek. Help me win the purple elephant. Please. Derek's smile falters. He leans forward, studying the screen intently. I convinced you to spend half your tokens helping me, I continue narrating as we watch our younger selves. You kept missing on purpose so I could have more tries. And when I finally won Peanut, you were more excited than I was. On screen, Derek lifts 6-year-old me in a victory hug while I clutch the stuffed elephant. The pure joy on both our faces is unmistakable. I don't understand, Derek says slowly. Mom's video of my birthday doesn't have. I mean, you weren't. In Mom's version, I don't exist. Just like Christmas 1998. Just like your graduation. Just like my dance recital that supposedly got cancelled due to a storm. I pause the video on a frame of us sharing birthday cake, both our faces smeared with chocolate frosting. Aunt Susan took this exact picture. She just can't remember it anymore. Derek stares at the screen for a long moment, then looks around my coffee table at the dozens of tapes and screenshots. How many videos are there? 17 that I found so far. Every single one has been edited. In some, I'm reduced to a few seconds of background footage. In others, I'm completely gone. I click to another file, Christmas 2001, when Derek was 14 and I was 10. Watch this one. Tell me what you remember about this Christmas. The video opens with Derek opening a new guitar, his face lighting up as he strums the strings experimentally. Oh man, I love that guitar. Played it constantly until the neighbors complained. But as the video continues, it shows me helping him tune it because I'd been taking violin lessons and had a better ear for pitch. There's Derek teaching me basic chords on Christmas afternoon, both of us sitting on his bed with a guitar between us. There's me accompanying him on violin while he plays Jingle Bells, both of us dissolving into giggles when I hit a spectacularly wrong note. We spent the whole day making music together, Derek whispers. I completely forgot. In Mom's version, I just played alone. You weren't alone, Derek. I was always there. We were always together. My voice cracked slightly. She erased me from our entire childhood and convinced everyone, including you, that her version was reality. Derek runs his hands through his hair, a gesture I recognize from when he's overwhelmed. But why would she do this? What possible reason? I asked her that. She said I was disruptive. That you were naturally photogenic and I was attention-seeking. That she was protecting the family's dignity. That's insane. Is it? I pull up another file, Derek's high school graduation. She told me you needed to be the star. That it was your day. Apparently, me being proud of my brother was somehow taking away from your moment. Derek watches 15-year-old me making his congratulations poster at 5 a.m., sees himself hugging me after the ceremony, hears his own voice saying thanks for making today so special, Lily. You're the best sister ever. His face goes completely white. Sarah, he says suddenly. What about her? Sarah's been asking questions. About family photos, about why there aren't many pictures of you at family events. I told her you were always camera shy, that you preferred being behind the scenes. Derek looks sick. But that wasn't true, was it? I think about Sarah, sweet and trusting, about to marry into a family built on carefully constructed lies. What else have you told her about me? Just what Mom always said. That you were going through difficult phases, that you were sensitive about being photographed, that you preferred Derek to have the spotlight. Derek's voice is barely above a whisper. Oh God, Lily. What have we done to you? Derek stays for 3 more hours, watching video after video in stunned silence. By the time we get through Christmas 2002, Easter 2004, and his 16th birthday party, his hands are shaking. The memorial video, he says suddenly, his face pale. Mom wants to show it at my wedding reception. In front of Sarah's entire family, all our friends. He looks at me with growing horror. Lily, what if she edits Dad's memorial the same way? What if she erases you from his funeral, from his last birthday, from everything? I hadn't thought of that, but now that he said it, the possibility feels inevitable. In Mom's version of Dad's life, I'll probably be reduced to a few seconds at the edge of family photos, a background figure who barely registered in his world. She can't edit his funeral, I say weakly. There were too many people there, too many other cameras. She can edit everything else. 28 years of your relationship with Dad, gone. Derek stands up abruptly, pacing to my kitchen and back. Sarah's going to watch that video and think Dad barely knew you. Her parents will think our family dynamics are completely different than what they are. What they were, I correct. Past tense. Because after this conversation, everything changes. Derek stops pacing. What do you mean? I've been thinking about this for 3 days, and I finally know what I have to do. I'm going to make my own video. Side-by-side comparisons of Mom's edited versions and Dad's originals. All of it. Christmas mornings, birthdays, graduations, family trips. I'm going to show everyone exactly what she did. Lily, you can't. The wedding is in 2 weeks. If you drop this bomb right before. I'm not waiting until after the wedding, Derek. She's planning to show Dad's memorial video at your reception. In front of everyone we know. My voice hardens. I won't let her erase me from Dad's life story too. Derek sinks back onto my couch, his head in his hands. This is going to destroy our family. Our family was destroyed 20 years ago. I'm just finally showing people the wreckage. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. Derek told me he's at your apartment. Please don't drag your brother into your confusion. He has enough stress with the wedding. I show Derek the message. His face twists with something between anger and disgust. She's still doing it, he mutters. Still trying to control the narrative. She's scared. She knows I have the evidence now, and she can't gaslight her way out of 47 hours of video footage. Derek looks at me with an expression I can't quite read. You said Dad hid all these tapes. Why do you think he kept them? I've been wondering the same thing. Maybe he knew what she was doing. Maybe he was protecting them for us. Or maybe he was planning to confront her himself, and then he had the heart attack. The possibility hangs between us like smoke. Dad died so suddenly, one minute he was mowing the lawn, the next minute he was gone. No time for final conversations, no chance to reveal whatever secrets he'd been keeping in that shoebox behind his tax returns. There's something else, Derek says quietly. Something I never told anyone because Mom made me promise to keep family business private. My stomach drops. What? 3 years ago, at Thanksgiving, after you went home early because you were tired. Derek makes air quotes, his face grim. Sarah asked Mom why you seemed so disconnected from family events. She said it felt like you were watching everything from the outside, like you didn't know how to participate in family moments. I remember that Thanksgiving. I'd felt exactly like that, like an observer at someone else's family gathering, like I didn't quite belong in the conversations about shared memories I couldn't recall. What did Mom tell her? That you'd always been emotionally distant. That you struggled with feeling left out even when you weren't, and that the family had learned to give you space rather than force you into situations where you'd feel uncomfortable. Derek's voice is bitter. She made it sound like we were being considerate of your psychological issues. But really, she'd conditioned me to feel like an outsider by erasing me from our history. Sarah believed it completely. She started being extra gentle with you, trying not to ask too many questions about your childhood because she thought it was a sensitive topic. Derek laughs harshly. My fiancée has spent 3 years tiptoeing around you because she thinks you have some kind of family trauma that makes you uncomfortable with being included. The cruelty of it takes my breath away. Mom didn't just erase me from our videos, she created an entire psychological profile to explain my resulting behavior, turning her victims into evidence of my instability. I have to tell Sarah the truth, Derek says suddenly. Derek, no. Not before your wedding. This is already complicated enough. She's about to become part of this family, Lily. She has a right to know what she's marrying into. He pulls out his phone. I'm calling her right now. Wait. I grab his arm. If you tell Sarah, she'll want to see the videos. And if she sees them, she'll have questions. And if she has questions, she'll want answers from Mom. Good. Let Mom try to explain this. At your wedding? Derek, think about this. Do you really want your marriage to start with a massive family confrontation? He stares at his phone for a long moment, then sets it down on my coffee table next to the evidence of our stolen childhood. So what do you suggest? That I lie to my future wife? That I let her spend our wedding reception watching Mom's memorial video and thinking it's an accurate representation of our family? I suggest you let me handle Mom. Give me until after your wedding, and then we'll tell everyone together. United front. And what exactly are you planning to do? I look at my laptop screen, frozen on a frame of 10-year-old me and 14-year-old Derek laughing together on Christmas morning, and I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure everyone sees the truth. But I'm going to do it right. Derek studies my face for a moment, then nods slowly. 2 weeks. But after that, no more secrets. No more secrets, I agree. After he leaves, I call in sick to work and spend the next 18 hours editing video footage. By sunrise, I have a 43-minute documentary comparing Mom's versions with Dad's originals, complete with timestamps and side-by-side comparisons. I title it The Missing Daughter, A Family History. Now I just have to decide what to do with it. The next morning, I wake up to 17 missed calls from Mom and a text from Derek that makes my blood run cold. Emergency. Sarah found one of the tapes. She has questions. Coming over at 10 a.m. with her. I check the time. 9:47 a.m. Shit. I'm still in yesterday's clothes, my laptop surrounded by empty coffee cups and the detritus of an all-night editing session. The documentary is finished, 43 minutes of damning evidence rendered in high definition, but I'm not ready for this conversation. Not with Sarah. Not yet. The knock comes at exactly 10 a.m. Derek's punctuality used to be endearing, now it feels like a countdown to detonation. I open the door to find Derek looking haggard and Sarah holding a VHS tape labeled Beach Trip 2001 in Dad's handwriting. We need to talk, Sarah says quietly, stepping into my apartment without waiting for an invitation. Her usual warm demeanor is replaced by something I've never seen before, a careful, analytical calm that reminds me she's a forensic accountant. Someone trained to spot discrepancies. Where did you find that? I ask, though I already know the answer. Derek's apartment. In a box of his old college stuff. Sarah sets the tape on my coffee table next to my laptop. He says he doesn't remember packing it, doesn't remember ever seeing it before. But it has his name on it, along with yours. Derek runs his hand through his hair, that familiar stress gesture. I think Dad must have slipped it in there when I moved out 6 years ago. Hidden it where Mom wouldn't think to look. I watched it, Sarah continues, her voice eerily calm. All 31 minutes. Derek building sandcastles with a little girl who looks exactly like him. Derek teaching that same girl to boogie board. Derek buried up to his neck in sand while she and their father pretend he's a sea monster. She pauses, studying my face. The thing is, Lily, I've seen your mother's version of this same trip. The one she showed at last year's 4th of July barbecue. 22 minutes of Derek at the beach. No little girl anywhere. My mouth goes dry. Sarah. I'm a forensic accountant, she says, cutting me off. I spend my days tracking missing money, finding hidden transactions, uncovering financial fraud. And what your mother did. She gestures to the tape. It's the same pattern. Systematic removal of evidence, consistent alteration of records, deliberate manipulation of data to support a false narrative. Derek sinks into my armchair, his face pale. She confronted me at 6 a.m. Started asking questions I couldn't answer. Why my childhood memories didn't match the videos. Why my sister seemed like a stranger at family events. Why I never talked about shared experiences with you. And that's when you told her, I guess. I had to. She was going to call your mother directly and demand explanations. Derek looks up at me with exhausted eyes. But Sarah has a theory about why Mom did this. And it's worse than we thought. Sarah opens her purse and pulls out a small notebook, flipping to a page covered in her neat handwriting. I've been thinking about this all night. Your mother isn't just narcissistic or controlling. This is systematic psychological abuse with a specific financial motive. Financial? Think about it, Lily. Derek was always the golden child, the one who got the better birthday parties, the more expensive Christmas gifts, the college fund. Sarah consults her notes. Your mother was building a documented case that Derek was the favored child, the successful one, the son who deserved more investment. My stomach drops as I realize where she's going with this. Your father's will, I whisper. Exactly. If anyone ever questioned why Derek inherited more, or why certain family assets went to him instead of you, your mother has 20 years of video evidence showing that Derek was the central figure in your family. The star. The child your father was most proud of. Sarah's voice is clinical, but I can see anger burning behind her professional mask. She was building a legal case to justify financial inequality. Derek looks sick. But dads will split everything equally between us. That you know of, Sarah corrects. Have you actually seen the will? Or just heard your mother's summary of it? The question hangs in the air like poison gas. I think back to Dad's funeral, the confusion and grief, how Mom handled all the legal details while Derek and I were too devastated to focus on paperwork. She said the house goes to her, and Derek and I split Dad's savings and retirement accounts, I say slowly. 50-50. But you've never seen the actual document? No. Sarah and Derek exchange a look that makes my chest tight. There's something else, Derek says quietly. When I was at your place yesterday, Mom called me 3 times. The third call, she was crying. Said she was worried about you having a breakdown, that Dad always feared you might not be able to handle adult responsibilities. What does that mean? She wants to meet with both of us tomorrow morning. With Dad's lawyer present. Derek's voice is barely above a whisper. She says there are provisions in Dad's will that we need to discuss, given your current mental state. The room spins slightly. She's going to use the tape situation as evidence that I'm unstable. It gets worse, Sarah says, consulting her notebook again. I did some research last night. In Virginia, if someone can demonstrate that a beneficiary is experiencing psychological issues that impair their judgment, there are legal mechanisms to place their inheritance in a conservatorship. A what? Basically, someone else manages your money for you. Someone deemed more responsible. Sarah meets my eyes. Someone like your mother. Or your stable, well-documented golden child brother. The full scope of Mom's plan crystallizes with terrifying clarity. She didn't just erase me from family videos for narcissistic reasons. She was systematically building a case that I was the unstable, problematic child while Derek was the responsible, mature son. And now, with Dad gone and me questioning family history, she can paint my search for truth as evidence of psychological breakdown. The memorial video, I breathe. What about it? Sarah asks. She wants to show it at your wedding reception. In front of everyone we know, including Dad's lawyer. I look between Derek and Sarah, my heart hammering. It's not just a tribute to Dad. It's a public demonstration of my irrelevance to his life. Witnesses to the fact that I barely existed in our family dynamic. Derek stands up abruptly, pacing to my kitchen window. We have to stop her. How? She has the edited versions, and now she has a psychological evaluation narrative to explain why I'm suddenly claiming the videos are wrong. I gesture helplessly at my laptop. Even if I show people the originals, she can say I'm having delusions about my importance in family events. Not if we beat her to it, Sarah says quietly. Both Derek and I turn to stare at her. She's planning to control this narrative at your wedding reception, in front of a room full of people who trust her. Sarah closes her notebook with a decisive snap. But what if they saw the truth first? The next evening, I'm standing in the parking lot of Riverside Community Center, watching Derek's future in-laws carry wedding decorations through the main entrance. Tomorrow night, this same room will be filled with everyone we know, celebrating Derek and Sarah's new beginning while Mom screens her carefully edited version of Dad's life. But tonight, it's just the wedding party and immediate families for the rehearsal dinner. Which means it's just the wedding party and immediate families who are about to see my 43-minute documentary instead of Mom's slideshow of happy memories. Sarah convinced the venue coordinator to let her handle the AV setup personally. Quality control, she'd explained with a kind of professional smile that discourages questions. What she didn't mention was the USB drive hidden in her purse, loaded with the missing daughter, a family history. My hands are shaking as I watch Mom's silver Honda pull into the parking lot. She emerges wearing her favorite navy dress, the one she saves for important occasions when she needs to project maternal authority. She's carrying a leather portfolio that I know contains printed photos and backup materials for her memorial presentation. You sure about this timing? Derek asks quietly, appearing beside me. He's been second-guessing our plan all day, torn between protecting his wedding and protecting me. She was going to ambush me with Dad's lawyer tomorrow. This way, everyone sees the truth before she can spin it. I watch Mom walk toward the entrance, her posture confident, victorious. Besides, your future in-laws deserve to know what kind of family Sarah's marrying into. Through the windows, I can see the Westbrooks, Sarah's parents, arranging centerpieces with a kind of focused cooperation that speaks to 30 years of marriage. They're good people. Honest people. The kind who would be horrified to learn about systematic psychological manipulation disguised as family video editing. What if this backfires? Derek whispers. What if people think you're the unstable one for making a documentary about home movies? It's the fear that's been keeping me awake for 2 days. What if 43 minutes of side-by-side comparisons just looks like obsessive attention-seeking? What if Mom's 20-year campaign to paint me as problematic has worked so well that even video evidence won't convince anyone? Then at least I'll know I tried, I tell him. And Sarah will know what she's getting into. We walk into the community center together, and I immediately spot the setup that will determine my future. A large screen at the front of the room, connected to a laptop that currently displays Sarah's innocent wedding slideshow. In exactly 47 minutes, when Mom begins her memorial tribute to Dad, that screen will instead show the truth about our family. Lily. Derek. Mom's voice rings out across the room, warm and welcoming for the benefit of our audience. She hurries over with her arms extended, pulling me into a hug that feels like a trap. I'm so glad you're both here early. I wanted to go over the memorial video timing with you. Over Mom's shoulder, I catch Sarah's eye. She's standing next to the laptop, her finger hovering over the trackpad, waiting for my signal. Of course, Mom. I can't wait to see what you put together, I lie smoothly. Mom's smile falters for just a second. She can hear something different in my voice, some note that doesn't match her expectations. But before she can analyze it further, Sarah's father approaches with a bottle of champagne. Margaret, this memorial idea is wonderful, he says warmly. Sarah mentioned you have decades of family footage. It must be comforting to have so many happy memories preserved. Oh yes, Mom replies, her confidence returning. My husband was wonderful about documenting our family life. Though of course, not all the footage was worth keeping. You know how it is, children can be so unpredictable on camera. She glances at me meaningfully, laying groundwork for whatever narrative she's planned. Actually, Sarah interjects, appearing beside her father, I've been looking forward to seeing more of Lily's childhood. Derek has told me such wonderful stories about their adventures together. The temperature in the room seems to drop 5 degrees. Mom's smile becomes fixed, artificial. Well, Lily was often camera shy, she says carefully. She preferred being behind the scenes. How interesting, Sarah replies, her forensic accountant mask firmly in place. Because the footage I've seen suggests she was quite comfortable performing. Very natural, actually. The silence stretches for exactly 3 seconds before Derek clears his throat. Why don't we get everyone seated? I think we're ready to start. As families settle into folding chairs arranged theater style, I take a seat in the back row where I can watch everyone's faces. Mom positions herself near the front, her leather portfolio open beside her, completely unaware that her carefully planned presentation has been replaced. Before we begin the memorial tribute, Sarah announces, standing beside the screen, I wanted to share something special that Derek and Lily discovered in their father's belongings. A more complete picture of their family history. This is Derek's rehearsal dinner, not some kind of. Sit down, Mom. Derek's voice cuts through her protest with authority I've never heard before. Let them watch. The documentary moves to my dance recital, Mom's camera malfunction versus the pristine footage of 9-year-old me executing perfect pirouettes while Dad cheers from the audience. Then Derek's 8th birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, where Mom's version shows him playing arcade games alone while the original captures me helping him win the basketball high score, both of us celebrating together. By the 15-minute mark, the room has gone completely silent except for the audio from the videos. Sarah's mother is clutching her husband's arm, her face pale with shock. Uncle Jim keeps shaking his head like he's trying to clear water from his ears. I don't understand, whispers Aunt Carol, Derek's godmother. Margaret, why would you, how could you? But Mom isn't listening to the questions. She's staring at the screen with an expression I've never seen before, not anger or panic, but something that looks almost like relief. Like she's tired of carrying the weight of 20 years of lies. The documentary reaches Derek's high school graduation, and the contrast is devastating. Mom's 18-minute version shows Derek's academic triumph in isolation, while Dad's 40-minute original captures me making congratulations posters at 5 a.m., ironing Derek's lucky shirt, crying with pride when they call his name. That's not possible, Sarah's father says slowly. Margaret, you told us Lily was going through a difficult phase in high school. That she missed most family events because she was struggling. She was struggling, Mom replies, but her voice sounds hollow, automatic. She needed space. I was protecting her privacy. By editing her out of existence? Marcus's voice is sharp with disbelief. Dude, that's not protecting privacy. That's psychological warfare. The room erupts in uncomfortable murmurs. Sarah's relatives exchange worried glances while our extended family stares at Mom with expressions ranging from confusion to horror. I can see the exact moment when Uncle Jim's memory clicks back into place. His face transforms as he remembers the real version of events, not Mom's carefully curated fiction. Jesus Christ, Margaret, he breathes. What did you do to that girl? But before Mom can answer, the documentary reaches its final segment, a montage of moments that exist only in Dad's originals. Me and Derek building snow forts, sharing inside jokes, supporting each other through childhood disappointments and victories. 20 years of sibling love that Mom systematically erased because it didn't fit her narrative of Derek as a solitary golden child. The screen goes black, and the room sits in stunned silence. Then Sarah's mother starts crying. The silence stretches for what feels like hours but is probably only 30 seconds. Then Sarah's mother, Patricia, stands up slowly, her tear-streaked face turned toward Mom with an expression I'll never forget. Margaret, she says, her voice trembling with barely controlled rage, I have spent 3 years believing that your daughter was emotionally disturbed. 3 years tiptoeing around her at family gatherings because you told us she had psychological issues that made her uncomfortable with family closeness. Mom opens her mouth to respond, but Patricia holds up a hand to stop her. I watched that beautiful little girl get erased from her own childhood, and you made me complicit in it. You made all of us complicit. Patricia gestures around the room at the stunned faces of our extended family. How many times did we exclude Lily from conversations about shared memories because we thought we were being considerate of her difficulties? Uncle Jim's face has gone from confusion to fury. The graduation party. Derek's graduation party in 2009. You told me Lily couldn't handle crowds that night, that she'd chosen to stay home rather than celebrate with the family. She was going through a phase, Mom starts weakly. She was 15 years old, Margaret. I saw her on that video crying with pride for her brother, and you convinced me she wasn't even there. Uncle Jim's voice cracks. My own niece, and I believed she was too unstable to celebrate her brother's achievements. Sarah's father, normally the most diplomatic man I know, looks like he wants to be sick. Margaret, we invited Derek to family events without Lily because you said large groups overwhelmed her. We thought we were being respectful of her limitations. You were protecting your golden child narrative, Sarah says quietly, her forensic accountant voice cutting through the chaos like a scalpel. Every person in this room has been manipulated into believing Lily was the problem child while Derek was the perfect son. You didn't just edit videos, Margaret. You edited reality. Derek, who's been silent through most of the confrontations, finally stands up. His face is pale but his voice is steady. Mom, I need to ask you something, and I need you to tell me the truth for once in your life. Mom looks at him with desperate hope, like she thinks her golden child might still save her from this reckoning. Dad's will, Derek continues. The real version. Not the summary you gave us after the funeral. The hope dies in Mom's eyes, replaced by something that looks like panic. Derek, this isn't the time. It's exactly the time. Because I'm starting to understand that 20 years of video editing wasn't just about family movies, was it? Derek pulls out his phone and shows Mom the screen. I called Dad's lawyer this afternoon. James Morrison. Remember him? Mom's face goes completely white. Funny thing about James Morrison, Mom. He retired 8 months ago. Right around the time Dad died. Sold his practice to a younger attorney who's been trying to reach us about some irregularities in how Dad's estate was handled. The room has gone dead silent again. Even the catering staff in the kitchen seem to have stopped moving. The will you filed with the probate court isn't the one Dad signed in 2019, Derek continues, his voice getting stronger. The real will, the one the new lawyer found in Morrison's files, that one splits everything 50-50 between me and Lily. Including the house. Mom sinks into her chair like her strings have been cut. But the version you filed, the one you had Morrison process before he retired? That one gives you the house for life, gives me 60% of everything else, and puts Lily's 40% in a trust managed by. Derek pauses, checking his phone screen. By you. Due to concerns about her emotional stability and poor judgment with financial matters. Patricia Westbrook gasps audibly. She forged a will? Not forged, Sarah corrects grimly. Modified. Just like the videos. Same pattern, different medium. The revelation about Dad's will hits me like a physical blow. I'm gripping the back of my chair so hard my knuckles have gone white, trying to process what Derek just said. Mom didn't just steal my childhood memories, she tried to steal my inheritance too. The trust document is fascinating, Sarah continues, pulling out her own phone. I had Derek email me copies this afternoon. According to the modified will, Lily's inheritance can only be released when she demonstrates sustained emotional stability and mature decision-making capabilities as determined by the trustee, Margaret Chin. Patricia Westbrook looks like she might be sick. So Lily would have to prove her sanity to her own mother to access her father's money? While her mother has been systematically gaslighting her for 20 years, Uncle Jim adds, his voice shaking with rage. Creating the exact psychological instability that would justify keeping the trust closed indefinitely. Mom finally finds her voice, but it comes out as barely a whisper. You don't understand the pressure I was under. Robert was always so protective of Lily, always worried she wouldn't be able to handle the real world. He asked me to watch out for her if something happened to him. By stealing her inheritance? Derek's voice cracks. By convincing everyone she was mentally unstable? By protecting her from making mistakes. Mom's mask finally slips completely, revealing something desperate and ugly underneath. Do you know how much money 40% of your father's estate is? $370,000. She would have wasted it on art school or traveling or whatever other impractical dreams she had. The number hits me like a slap. $370,000. Money that could have bought me a house, started a business, given me the financial security to take risks and pursue dreams. Money that Mom decided I wasn't mature enough to handle because I questioned her edited family videos. So you decided Derek was responsible enough for his share, but I wasn't? My voice sounds strange, hollow. Based on what criteria, exactly? Mom looks around the room desperately, searching for allies who no longer exist. Derek has always been focused, practical. He made good decisions in college, chose a stable career, found a nice girl from a good family. Her eyes land on Sarah with something that might have been approval if it weren't so twisted. He proved he could handle adult responsibilities. While I was the family disappointment who couldn't even remember her own childhood correctly, I finish. How convenient that you created the evidence to support that narrative. Sarah's father, who's been quietly watching this family implosion with a horrified fascination of someone witnessing a car accident, finally speaks up. Margaret, are you saying you manipulated legal documents to disinherit your own daughter based on psychological issues that you created? I didn't create anything. Mom snaps, some of her old authority returning. Lily has always been oversensitive, always looking for reasons to feel excluded. The video editing was just streamlining. Focusing on the positive moments instead of dwelling on difficult behaviors. Difficult behaviors like being happy on Christmas morning? Patricia's voice could cut glass. Like dancing at her recital? Like being proud of her brother? Like disrupting Derek's moments by making everything about herself. The words hang in the air like poison gas. Around the room, I can see our extended family, people who've known me since birth, recoiling from Mom's statement like she's physically struck them. Jesus, Margaret, whispers Aunt Carol. Do you hear yourself? She was a child. A child being happy at family events. But Mom is past hearing reason now, past maintaining any pretense of maternal love. She was attention-seeking. Always performing for the camera, always trying to steal focus from whatever we were celebrating. Derek never did that. Derek understood that some moments weren't about him. Because Derek was the golden child who never had to fight for attention, Derek says quietly. Because you gave him all of it willingly. The silence that follows feels different from the previous ones, heavier, more final. I look around the room at faces I've known my entire life and see something I've never seen before, people looking at me with sympathy instead of confusion. Uncle Jim's expression has shifted from anger to heartbreak. Patricia Westbrook is crying again, but now she's looking at me instead of the screen. For the first time in my adult life, my family is seeing me clearly. The wedding ceremony the next morning happens in a haze of whispered conversations and meaningful glances. Derek and Sarah exchange vows while half the congregation steals looks at me, their expressions ranging from sympathy to curiosity to outright horror at what they witnessed last night. Mom sits in the front row wearing her best black dress like she's attending a funeral instead of her son's wedding. She hasn't spoken to me since the rehearsal dinner ended with her storming out, leaving her scattered memorial photos on the community center floor. But it's during the reception, as Derek and Sarah share their first dance, that I realize something fundamental has shifted. Aunt Susan approaches me at the bar, her eyes red-rimmed but determined. Lily, honey, I need to apologize. For 20 years, I need to apologize. She grips my hand tightly. I should have trusted my own memories instead of letting those damn videos convince me I was wrong. Uncle Jim joins us, his face grim. I called my lawyer this morning. We're filing a complaint with the Virginia State Bar about James Morrison's handling of your father's estate. What your mother did, there are laws about this kind of manipulation. The new attorney handling Morrison's old cases wants to meet with you Monday, Sarah's father adds, appearing beside us with a folder of papers. He's been reviewing other estate cases Morrison processed in his final months. Your family might not be the only one affected. I stare at these people, my people, rallying around me after decades of being convinced I was the problem. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, Patricia Westbrook tells me firmly. You just have to let us help you get back what was stolen. Across the reception hall, I spot Derek deep in conversation with the pastor who performed the ceremony. They're both looking in Mom's direction with expressions I can't quite read. Derek catches my eye and waves me over. Pastor Williams was just telling me something interesting, Derek says when I join them. About the conversation Mom had with him yesterday morning, before she knew about the documentary. Pastor Williams, a kind man in his 60s who's known our family for 15 years, looks deeply uncomfortable. Your mother came to me asking if there were biblical grounds for an adult child to be declared incompetent due to dangerous delusions about family history. My blood runs cold. She what? She wanted me to witness her concerns about your mental state. Said she was worried you might hurt yourself or others if your false memories weren't addressed professionally. Pastor Williams shakes his head sadly. She even brought printed screenshots from social media posts she'd made about feeling disconnected from family events, asking if I thought they indicated psychological instability. She was building a case, Derek realizes. For the trust conditions. She needed witnesses to testify that you were having a breakdown. The timing is particularly disturbing, Pastor Williams continues. She scheduled this conversation for right after the memorial video presentation at your reception tonight. She wanted me to observe your reaction to being minimally featured in your father's tribute, then document any emotional distress as evidence of delusional thinking. The full scope of Mom's plan crystallizes with sickening clarity. She wasn't just going to humiliate me with an edited memorial video, she was going to use my natural hurt and confusion as proof that I was mentally unfit to inherit Dad's money. Where is she now? I ask, scanning the reception hall. Derek points toward the parking lot. Loading boxes into her car. Looks like she's leaving. Through the windows, I can see Mom's silver Honda with its trunk open, several cardboard boxes visible inside. She's moving with urgent efficiency, clearly trying to avoid any more confrontations. The original tapes, I breathe. She's taking Dad's originals. I sprint toward the parking lot, Derek close behind me. We reach Mom's car just as she's closing the trunk, her face set in determined lines. Going somewhere? Derek asks. Home, Mom replies curtly, not meeting our eyes. This family gathering has become unpleasant. What's in the boxes, Mom? Personal items. Things your father would have wanted me to preserve properly. Derek moves to the trunk and tries the handle. Locked. Mom, if those are Dad's original tapes, they're evidence in a legal case now. You can't just. I can do whatever I want with my husband's belongings. Mom's voice is sharp, desperate. Those videos were never meant for public consumption. Your father would be horrified by what you've done. Dad hid them for a reason, I say quietly. He knew what you were doing, and he protected the truth for us. For just a moment, Mom's mask slips and I see something that might be genuine pain. Your father never understood how hard it was, managing family dynamics. He just filmed everything without thinking about consequences. The consequence of showing me being happy? Mom's face hardens again. The consequence of encouraging behavior that would hurt you later. Do you think the world was going to coddle you the way your father did? Do you think anyone was going to find your constant need for attention as charming as he did? The words hit like physical blows, but for the first time, they don't make me doubt myself. After seeing 47 hours of evidence that I was a normal, loved child, Mom's criticisms sound exactly like what they are, the justifications of an abuser. Give me the keys, Mom. Absolutely not. Derek pulls out his phone. Then I'm calling the police. Grand larceny of estate assets. Sarah's father already documented everything that was in Dad's closet. Mom stares at us for a long moment, her face cycling through anger, desperation, and something that might be defeat. Finally, she reaches into her purse and throws the keys at my feet. You have no idea what you destroyed, she says quietly. This family, Derek's reputation, your own future. All for some old home movies. No, Mom, Derek says, opening the trunk to reveal 12 boxes of VHS tapes, photo albums, and documents. We destroyed 20 years of lies. There's a difference. As Mom drives away, alone, furious, but empty-handed, I realize that the title of my documentary was wrong. I was never actually missing from my family's story. I was just hidden, edited into shadows and margins, made invisible by someone who was supposed to protect me. But I was always there. In Dad's careful preservation of the truth, in Derek's confused questions about his incomplete memories, in the uncomfortable space between what people were told and what they instinctively felt. Now, finally, I'm visible again. Not as the problematic daughter who couldn't remember her own life correctly, but as the little girl who danced and laughed and loved her family completely, until someone decided that love was too disruptive to document. Derek helps me load the boxes into his car, and as we drive back to the reception, I realize something that makes me smile for the first time in days. I finally know exactly who I am. And I have 47 hours of video to prove it. Update asterisk 3 months later, mom settled out of court for the full inheritance amount plus penalties. Apparently, her lawyer took one look at the video evidence and recommended she cut her losses. Derek and I used some of the money to digitize all of Dad's footage and create individual memory books for every family member, complete with photos and stories they'd forgotten existed. Mom moved to Florida and hasn't contacted us since. Uncle Jim says she's telling people there that her children turned against her over a misunderstanding about home movies. Some stories, I guess, never change. But at least now everyone knows which version is true. Asterisk final tally, 47 hours of recovered footage, $370,000 in rightful inheritance, 1 forged will exposed, and 28 years of gaslighting finally ended. Not bad for a girl who was supposedly too disruptive to remember asterisk.